What's up, everyone, and welcome to Variant the Podcast.
Variant Podcast. We're continuing with the musical introductions.
In my head, as I was saying that, I'm like, I feel like at this point, I just have to do it different every week now.
Yeah, I suppose.
Different inflection.
Yeah, come in like Michael McDonald next time.
Michael McDonald. What? I thought you were going to say Bublé.
No, you got to go 80s with it. What's up, Variant Nation?
Feeling good.
Well, that's
Bublé. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's my dude.
He's great. He's great. But yeah, what's up, Variant Nation? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody is having a safe and happy day and weekend and life.
It's been a busy week for Nerd TV.
Yes.
We got the premiere of Loki, which we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
Premiere of Loki season 2. Got the finale.
Yeah, I suppose it's definitely more so than usual.
Yeah, the finale of Ahsoka season 1. And episode 3, I believe, came out. 3 or 4 came out of Gen V, which we forgot to talk about a few weeks ago, and we'll touch on briefly later. But yeah, a lot of superhero, nerdy sci-fi TV.
Yes, there is quite a bit to cover, more so than has been the last couple of weeks today. Starting with, we just announced on Friday. We told you guys, we've been saying for the last couple of months that Variant has been working on a ton of stuff behind the scenes that we are building. I think we've mentioned in the past we're building out, we're working on new set designs. We're working on a kind of an overall Variant upgrade and overhaul to the look of the show. We're working on new formats, things like that you guys are going to be seeing roll out it's going to be like quarterly, let's say. For the next probably year and a half.
Look at that, 4 times a year.
Yeah,
that's
so
mass.
you guys are gonna be seeing a lot of new stuff coming from Variant over the next 12 to 16 months. But Friday we announced that we are officially partnering with Whatnot, and we are becoming part of the Whatnot community. Whatnot and Whatnot. And on Friday, October 13th, you are going to be in New York Comic-Con.
Yes, I am.
You're going to be doing a bunch of stuff. Do you want to talk about any of that now?
I think the only one I technically can say by the time when does this come out? To be safe, I could say one because I had to sign an NDA and I don't know if they want me to say anything because I know they're doing a press release for it and everything, and that hasn't come out yet. I am hosting the Harveys this year though. Again,
okay, so that one you can say.
The other one I don't want. The other one I think is maybe even a little cooler, but I can't say that yet because I don't. Yeah.
There is a big one that you guys should keep an eye out. We'll actually talk about it here on the show before it happens, as once they give us
the Harveys is really freaking cool.
But second year in a row, you're going to be hosting the Harveys, and we are going to be launching our Whatnot shop.
Yes.
And we're going to be doing some cool stuff with that.
We already told them what the drop is, right?
No, not yet.
No. So we can't say that now.
Not just yet. So this Wednesday's episode, you guys, we are going to reveal on the regular Variant channel. And across socials and stuff like that, we're going to reveal what the big initial drop is.
It's a cool drop.
And it's a big drop.
Okay, cool.
So
it's a nostalgic drop, I'll say too. It's a very nostalgic drop.
It's a nostalgic drop. It is going to be a New York Comic-Con exclusive, and Variant is going to be the only place that you will be able to get it digitally.
You know what I can say? Because it's already been on the internet. So this kind of sort of may have come out because of a certain person who's involved in it, and the people who saw it circulating on the internet were like, holy crap, this is awesome. I could say that.
Yeah, you can say that. It definitely has a lot of buzz, and you guys are going to be excited when we're able to tell you on Wednesday. So check out the episode on Wednesday on the main channel.
Yes.
Where we will be actually just telling you flat out what is going to be available.
Yeah, I'm so upside down right now.
Yes, the episode
we shot that?
The episode is shot.
And I read the thing, and I said what the thing is. I'm so okay. Good. Yeah. So I already passed there. It's good for you.
So 2 things, I guess. Well, 3 things. 1, Variant is joining Whatnot, and we are going to be doing all kinds of stuff on Whatnot.
It's going to be fun.
We're going to be doing live shows. We're going to have a back catalog, a buy it now catalog, where you guys are going to be able to buy a wide array of great high value collectibles and comics, not just comics, but also figures and vinyls. It's going to be my mission
to get a Batman animated series something in there.
I've already
has something.
Yeah, I've already been talking to them about so one of the cool things that we're going to be doing with the Whatnot shop that I'm very excited about, that I'm working on, is that it's going to be tied to our episodes.
Yeah.
So when we put up a history of episode and we give you guys reading recommendations, you're going to be able to actually get some of the reading recommendations, but variant covers of those titles right from our shop. Yeah. And you're gonna be able to get them for great prices. You know, every now and then you're gonna see an episode go up, and in the episode we're gonna be saying in a couple of hours, we're going to be doing a live show, and we're going to be giving away this book, and we're going to be doing a lot of giveaways with the store. So we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. So make sure that we're going to have the link for the sign up for Whatnot if you don't already have one, and then follow Variant on Whatnot. We're going to have the link for that attached to this episode.
Yes.
So make sure that you do that ahead of time, so that as we are rolling out our live shows and things like that, and even just general drops, you guys are aware of when that happens.
Yeah.
So Variants going to Whatnot, and then New York Comic-Con. We have, for the very first drop, it is a big one you do not want to miss. Believe me when I tell you, you don't want to miss it.
Again, it's circulated, kind of was teased, because the person involved wasn't supposed to say it, but he got so excited he wanted to say it, and the people who saw it were like, yeah, this is dope.
Yes. And there's a couple of things I don't have full confirmation on just yet, but for the actual launch and the release of this drop, we might be doing something super, super, super cool around it. So,
oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But I can't say yet. So just be signed up, be watching for all of that. And I'm very excited for you, because you're doing the one thing that we cannot talk about.
No,
It's very cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I'm like, no, I can't, because like they're doing a press release, and I don't know if it's going to be out yet. I would imagine it is going to be, but like, I just don't want to risk it, because they're very, especially with the person who's like in charge of it, is like a very like no spoilers type person. So yeah.
And then the last thing we're going to mention about New York Comic-Con is Astonishing Times, the next leg of Astonishing Times, the next phase of Astonishing Times.
Yes.
The Koken solo series is actually coming soon.
Yes.
We don't have an exact drop date yet.
It's looking like early next year, first quarter next year at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at New York Comic-Con, you guys are going to have a limited number of ash cans.
200. Only 200.
And they may or may not be signed by everyone on the book.
That's true. This is indeed true.
You know, I'm not saying that we may have like an inside scoop to get some.
No, it's really, really cool, because it's, well, on a personal level, it's my first New York Comic Con exclusive, which is crazy.
Yeah, so that's really cool.
It's the first 11 pages of issue 1 of the Rise of Koken series by myself, Frank Ruri. Frank Ruri.
I was like, no,
I merged them together. Frank Barberry, I'm a co-writer, and artist Ruri Coleman and Lauren Affey, who's also part of it. So yeah, we are doing that in your Comic Con. Only 200. First 11 pages of issue 1. It's a virgin cover, black and white, of Koken in his prime, and it leaves you on a cliffhanger. We made sure to like that last page is like where a little cliffhanger. So it keeps you wanting to read the rest of the issue when it officially drops. But you could read the first 11 pages if you get it before anyone else, because it won't even be available digitally. This is the only way you'll be able to get a preview of the actual book before it drops.
And if you're a fan of the Astonishing Times series, which you should be, I've seen it. The ash can is awesome. So you want to get your hands on one if you can. So be on the lookout for that. And I think you're going to be dropping them. You guys are going to be dropping them, kind of you and Frank, or just you?
Me and Frank will be doing it together. We'll be doing a stream on Whatnot.
Okay, so they'll be doing a stream. Frank and Arris will be doing a stream, not on the variant Whatnot, but they'll be doing a stream from Whatnot, I believe, from your Whatnot. Because Arris has a personal Whatnot as well. So you guys are going to be doing that, and you'll be announcing and notifying everybody when that goes up, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Cool. So keep an eye out for that as well.
Probably do it limited too. Like, I don't know if we'll do them all at once, just to give people, maybe like 10 this day, 20 that day, just to kind of like
spread it out.
Spread it out a little bit.
Spread the love.
Yeah.
So all those are the very cool things that will be going on over the next week, New York Comic-Con related, but also
it's going to be a busy weekend.
Yeah. And this next phase for Variant, us introducing Variant's partnership with Whatnot is we have a lot of cool stuff planned that we're partnering with Whatnot. So Whatnot is we're working with them to do some things that you're not really going to see anywhere else.
No, like literally exclusives, like that you could, like Variant exclusive, which is, I always thought it was funny. Like, we've talked about it forever. Like, the Variant is finally doing variants, because that's the whole,
right. Yes, exactly.
So it's a variant comic. Yeah. So,
and that's one of the big targets here is we want to start doing stuff you can't find anywhere.
For sure.
It is literally exclusive to Variant, including Variant covers. And some of them will have our logo on it. Some of them won't. Some of them won't.
Yeah.
But we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff. And we're looking to build some really cool stuff that's only for you.
And what's cool about it is like if you've been a fan of the show or watching it, for a year, or you're OG from the beginning, you've been around for a decade, which is crazy.
For real.
Like it's going to be a lot of stuff because we want all the things we would partner with or create is going to be stuff we actually love, which is dope. So like, that's why I was saying to you earlier, like we got to get like a Batman animated one because we're massive Batman animated fans. But we also know a lot of you are big Batman animated fans. So anything that, we've loved a lot over the years, you for sure bet we're going to do something Spider-Man. Spider-Man's dope. I mean, any of the cool stuff, but even more probably, dude, because we're both also a big fan of gargoyles.
Oh,
getting
man,
a Gargoyles exclusive.
In fact, I've already been talking to them about that. And I'll just say it looks positive.
But I will also say Whatnot has also done Disney variant covers.
Yep.
So that opens up as we know, Disney pretty much owns half of every nerdy IP out there. So that opens up anything, under the Pixar banner, the Marvel banner, the Star Wars banner, like so on and so forth. Bro, can you imagine doing like some sort of like homage cover with like Woody and Buzz?
That would be pretty cool.
I don't think I shouldn't have said that. Dang it. Now it's out in the world. Now it's how they're going to beat us to it. I should have said that to you off camera. But that would be dope.
That would be cool. There's a lot of possibilities and a lot of cool things lined up, including a lot of creator-based insiders and creator interviews, things like that.
Yeah.
So our live streams, when we do live shows, we're going to be looking to do them a little bit different. It's going to be more variant content based with drops integrated into it. So we're going to be talking comics, very similar to what we do here on the podcast.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So
it'll be really cool to line stuff up, like, because we plan to do stuff that's topical too. So like right now, Loki season 2 just came out. So we'd probably want to do something Loki related. If we started earlier, we'd probably want to do something like Ahsoka related. So when every movie or TV or something big like that, it would just make all the sense in the world to do it, and it'd be fun.
Yeah. I'm going to try and get Comic Tom on here as much as possible, too.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Go follow him and subscribe to his YouTube channel if you haven't already. Comic Tom 101.
Yeah. He's a great guy and a ton. If you're a collector of any kind, I mean, he's just an incredible resource on that front as well.
Dude, yeah.
So anyway, make sure you follow Variant on Whatnot, and you just hit all the buttons. Hit everything. Just make sure you got them all covered.
I think I said it backwards. I said Comic Tom 101 /YouTube. It would be youtube.com/Comic Tom 101. There we go.
I think they got it.
Yeah.
They got it. We're all familiar. But last week we talked about the budget for the Marvels.
Yes.
And how crazy it was. And we asked everybody a question. We were talking about and debating over here whether or not this movie was even going to break even. Was it going to exceed expectations? Was it going to fall way short? Like the kind of the trajectory of some of the superhero stuff that we've been seeing, like the DC stuff specifically. And we told you guys we were going to put up a poll on the community page for Variant the Podcast, the Variant the Podcast YouTube channel. And you guys voted, and overwhelmingly, you guys answered that it will be the next box office flop from Marvel Studios.
I actually didn't take it.
60%.
Okay, I was going to ask.
60% voted it will be the next box office flop for Marvel Studios, followed by the next. I mean, it's not even close. The top two, 60%, it'll be a flop. 33%, it will break even. It will exceed expectations, came in at 7% of the vote.
That's funny because, like,
no one believes it'll be $1 billion movie.
No, I don't.
Everybody was like,
I don't.
You're an idiot.
But I personally don't think it's going to be a flop either. I think I probably go. So what did I say last week? That it's probably gonna make around 600 mil, which means it's like.
I think you said it was going to cap out at like 5.
5 or 6. Okay, so that's more or less breaking even. It's close to it. It's a little more.
That
than
will
budget.
be, I think, the break even point.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna stick to that. I don't know if it will lose money, but I don't think it's making much money.
Yeah, I'm still in the same limbo that I was saying last week.
I
just don't know. With this one, because it has a lot going for it.
Too.
It is. It's coming in just a few weeks. But it has some things going for it that may push it into a better box office than it would have had otherwise, had there been particularly some stiffer competition.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. I don't know what the audience's true appetite is going to be for this one.
I will say, we're going to talk about it in a second, but like, Loki season 2 is out, and that's really good. So I'm wondering if that continues throughout the weeks leading up to Captain Marvel. If it continues on that pace, it gets us fans hyped for the MCU again. So we have that excitement, and that pushes us to be like, oh, now we got to see the Marvels.
Yeah, if Loki continues to be good,
yes,
then that is possible. Yeah,
that's a factor that we didn't discuss last week.
Yeah,
but,
that's true.
That could help them a little bit, like you said, if Loki continues to be good.
We will see, man. It's going to be interesting. But I guess before we get into more of the Marvel stuff, we got to talk about the Ahsoka finale.
Oh, you want to start with the Ahsoka finale?
Let's start with the Ahsoka finale.
Okay.
Because that was longer ago.
That's true.
Than Loki.
We actually have not talked about it yet.
We have not.
So
not at all, actually.
They are getting our raw thoughts.
All right, so do you want to lead off or you want me to lead off?
I already know what you're going to say, but I
don't know if you do.
Okay, I'll lead because now
all right, go ahead.
I want to see. All right, so I guess overall thoughts. I liked it, didn't love it. It was a little underwhelming. That's where I land. Like, I don't think it was. I wanted more. I definitely wanted more. There were some things that I was kind of like about. Again, it was kind of anticlimactic. I felt like it was a little slow, and they wasted time wasted more time like getting to Thrawn before he gets off in his his Star Destroyer and all that stuff like that. The main thing that will bum me out about it, I'll say the main thing as far as wasting time, which clearly was intentional, but I wish they wouldn't have done it. The main thing for me, and I feel like they were wasting time, is because they never went back to Balin. They went at the very end. The very end, it was a stinger, which was dope. Which was really cool because he's freaking on the mountain of Mortis, which was awesome. And his freaking son, the son of Mortis, is right there. But then the daughter of Mortis is freaking like broken and fallen over. But then Ahsoka sees the embodiment of the daughter of Mortis in the owl, and that leads up stuff. So like the setup and stuff for the future of the movie, awesome. But the episode itself, I was like, it was good. Anticlimactic because it's like there's a lot of cool things. There's a lot of room to play now. Like a lot of room. Freaking Shin's there. She found like the Marauders, and she's clearly gonna team up with them.
All of this happened at the end.
I know, so I'm saying Balin found what he was there for, and everyone was right. We were right. The internet, for the most part, was right. Be like, it's Mortis. It's Mortis. That's what it freaking was. Noticed him. No, this is all the end. This is all literally the last 4 or 5 minutes of the show. Notice he was standing on the father Mortis, the son, which represents balance. And his lightsaber isn't red. It's not full Sith. It's like that orange color, which was a thing at the very beginning. So it's like balance in the middle. It's kind of going that whole gray Jedi balance thing where it's like dark Jedi, like, he's neither bad, he's not good. Is it the perfect balance? So there's a lot of things Filoni was playing with. A lot. Like you could really. That's why I say I like the episode because like we're kind of just doing right here. You could really dissect it because he did do a lot. But as far as pacing and stuff, it's like, or even, I'm torn. Here, how do you feel about Sabine being able to use the Force? Finally, I'm torn because like we said before, it was a slow burn. She wasn't able to use it to the very last episode, so you can't complain. Being like, I just gave her the Force, blah, blah. No, she literally, to the end of the episode, he made her work for it. So, it's fine. Like, I don't have a complaint there. But I'm still like, I don't know. Like, I kind of would have liked it more if, like, it would have been more shocking and for me, a little more satisfying if, like, she wanted to be a Jedi, but she just couldn't. You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, I love Rebels and stuff, and she was training with Kanan before Ahsoka, and it does make sense. And I don't not like it. I'm just like, I may have liked it if it just didn't turn out that she could use the Force. Because she's because every time she got her blasters out when Ahsoka, I'm like, oh, but you're such a badass Mandalorian. And I just want you to be a badass Mandalorian because that's what she is. And then when she Force pushes Ezra to the Destroyer at the end, I'm like, I felt like that should have been switched. Because
she also helped them open the doors.
She did help them open the doors. We don't really know to what extent though, because it's like,
they don't.
But the solo feat of her pushing, I'm like, but you just learned. Right. That's something like freaking people like Anakin, Obi-Wan do. Sure. Like that's a lot of Force you're using to freaking push them that much. I felt like it should have been swapped. I'm like, oh, so now you just got like, you're strong in it. All this stuff. You went from just pulling a lightsaber to like, you're pushing like a 180-pound man, like 100 feet in the air.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I liked it. The whole thing, everything with Ahsoka. I like where she's at now too, because where it leaves her. You know, where her story is very much open. She's where she needs to be, as I believe she said or alluded to at the end. And now Thrawn is off in the galaxy with Ezra's with Hera and stuff, and it sets up for Filoni's movie. You know, maybe Luke is going to come in, like in the actual Heir to the Empire story and stuff, because we know he's around, so maybe he'll show up in the movie, and that's when they go all in Avengers style, and we get Mando and Luke, and Ahsoka finds her way back with the Purgle and stuff, and, you know, she's got the good side of the Force with that little owl, her version of Hedwig.
For real.
But yeah, I mean, I ranted already. So again, little underwhelming, but a lot of cool stuff. Overall, I liked it.
Okay. I think all of that is fair. I was very much, because one of the things that has been bothering me this entire series, you guys know that some of the technical parts, like the pacing and stuff like that, but story-wise, one of the things that was bothering me is I was like, are you going to tell us what is calling to Balin?
Yes.
For just speaking of Balin, before I go further, Balin is my favorite character in this entire series. Balin Skull.
I think a lot of people would agree with you.
Okay. So that is my, I think he stole the show for me. And he was on screen maybe a fraction of the time.
He's one of those characters that every time he's on screen, he took it. He stole it.
Exactly.
It's all about Balin.
And so in the end, he was the coolest,
which is so
character
sad.
in the series. It really is.
Because
that is that's why I bring it up. I bring it up because it should not be that way. But he was my favorite character in the entire show so far.
Well, what I was alluding to more so the fact that he passed in real life.
Oh, yeah.
So like Filoni clearly had a plan for that character. So now one of two things. He's either going to have to recast or he's going to have to go a different route. So I imagine with the way that ended, you have to recast because then you're rewriting everything.
Yeah, there's no way that you can't. And he was so good.
Yeah, that's another thing. Who's going to?
He was so good.
Because he was perfect.
He was so good.
You know who a lot of people are saying would be a good replacement for him? The guy from Game of Thrones.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Man, I can't remember his name, but I'm like,
you
know who you're talking about.
Maybe.
Yeah, I could see it. But great character. So sad that Ray Stevenson passed away. He did such a brilliant job.
The thing that bums me off.
He nailed that character. Even the tone of the character was just so spot on.
Before we go, I feel like the thing that bums me off, the thing that makes me really, really sad is you'll never know how much we all love that character.
That is
that's a sad like you just said he didn't get to see the fact how well his character was received. And I would go on to say become like an icon in the franchise now. Like everyone loves that character.
Yeah,
I haven't heard one person say a single bad thing about that character.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't apply icon yet. You would have to.
Well, in the sense because
he didn't have enough time.
I know, but you know, in the sense when like someone passes, it kind of elevates it that much more. You know what I mean?
He definitely left a significant mark, and that's a very sad and true point that he will never know.
No, because again, like to your point, you like a character in the Ahsoka series more than the star of the show.
Oh yeah,
and he'll never know that.
He was only on screen maybe 25% of the time.
He was so good though.
He was great.
He was so good.
But that was one of the things that was really irking me. Is I was like, are they going to end this season without telling us who was calling or who or what is calling to Balin, what he's looking for, what's calling to him? And there was all kinds of speculation, and the Gods of Mortis was one of the leading candidates, right? So the whole episode, I was very much like what you said. I was very like, It had some cool moments, like Ezra building his lightsaber and that whole interaction, him referring to him as Caleb at one point.
Don't you go over that because I forgot about that. The part where Hugh Yang, because you see Ezra looking for a hilt. He's looking for a specific hilt, specific piece to his saber, right?
And it's the same as Kanan.
He said there's only one other Jedi who used that. And he goes, I had two for a backup. And he literally gives him Kanan's replacement, top piece of his hilt. I was like, oh my Filoni.
Yeah, there was a lot of throughout the episode, and this saved it for me because there were some fight sequences that were cool. The Night Troopers eventually did become empowered.
I was going to ask you that because I didn't get a chance to ask anyone else, and I want to see what you thought about it. So cool, very cool. It's what a lot of us expected. They are zombie troopers.
Well, they became
this is my point to where I'm coming. So the ones that they defeated in the previous episode out with those turtle snail people, they were not, right? They were normal human beings.
Right. That's what I was saying in the last episode.
So like that's
because they just killed him, and there was no green smoke or.
But the way they did it, it was like I feel like it could have been taken either way because I felt like you could interpret it as like, oh, she just decided not to raise them or reanimate them that time, and they were always dead. They just didn't want to reanimate them, or this was the first time they reanimated them. You know what I mean?
No, I mean that's not what I got from it because they even say there's even a point where Thrawn says to the Night Sisters, they're like,
great mothers,
or not the Night Sisters, to Morgan Elsbeth.
Mm-hmm.
She says, do they know? Did they know?
She got the witch on her in this episode.
And they're like, yeah, they volunteered. So as if there's some kind of a requirement that they know exactly what the magic won't work, sort of a thing.
Yes.
Which is actually a tenet from true real world like mystics and stuff like that. It has to be voluntary.
I actually forgot that I didn't put that to cool. Yeah.
So,
that's right.
Prior to that,
sense.
and so it totally links up with what we saw in the previous episode where they killed a bunch of those troopers and they stayed dead.
Yeah.
So now this, they actually forfeit their lives for the sake
eyes
of the
turned
cause.
green.
Yeah, it was very cool. I mean, some of it was like, like some of the way that things happen, like if you knew that these were zombies, or you were fighting them, like why wouldn't you do certain things? So, but it was you're nitpicking at that point. It's Star Wars, for God's sake.
What I loved, going to the point of Sabine not being good in the Force or a Jedi yet, is when they all start swarming them for the first time, and as at this point, Ezra's using his new lightsaber, which is blue, by the way. Now he's got a blue one. And I thought it made perfect sense to let Sabine keep that one, and now his is almost like a replica of Kanan, his former master, which the full circle,
very cool.
really cool. But anyway, where they're fighting, and she's doing horribly with she's not really proficient in the saber yet. So Ahsoka's like, Sabine, blasters, like put that away and start helping us.
So there was some cool moments throughout the entire thing. Morgan Elsbeth, getting the power of the shadow or the gift of the shadow.
That was really cool.
That whole thing was very cool because
her sword
used the sword, the blade of Talzin, right? Which is again going back to Mother Talzin, another character, that Filoni used in Clone Wars,
and how it could hold up against the lightsaber.
Yes, there was a lot of cool stuff. Even the spells that they were casting were replicants of things you saw in Clone Wars. So it was a lot of really cool moments. If you're a Star Wars fan, there was some really cool callbacks.
There's memes going across the internet of like people who watched Ahsoka who haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, and then it's a facial expression of going, huh?
Yes,
and then people who have seen Clone Wars or Rebels going, yeah! Because it's like, it's true. If you've seen it, you just get everything. You're like, oh, because he's like, again, the whole Mortis, people who haven't seen Clone Wars, that Mortis arc, they're not going to know what the hell that is when it's basically like the gods of the Force.
Correct.
Essentially. So it's like, that's what was calling Balin. He says it, he alludes to it throughout the series. It's like the beginning of everything. Filoni established that in Clone Wars when he was trying to, when the father Mortis was trying to make Anakin like his new avatar, and stuff like that. So like now Balin's there. So it's just, if you're a Star Wars fan, the lore is the best thing about this series. That
is what made me happy at the end.
Yeah, the lore.
Because while the episode I thought was good, whatever. If it had not ended the way that it did, I would have probably been really disappointed because it would have been like, this was just kind of like a nothing burger. It was the most obvious elements until the very end. It was at the end. That's whatever, but at least we got it. We got confirmation that we're dealing with the gods of Mortis. That's huge.
It's massive.
Right? Then we see Balin standing on the outstretched arm of the father. The daughter is separated from the father. The head is gone because we know she's dead. She's embodied and by it's Morai, right?
The
owl,
yes.
Who's named Morale, who follows Ahsoka.
Yes.
Who now is Ahsoka the White. After her experience with Anakin in the World Between Worlds. Now, Anakin has been present throughout this. So after we saw that, we got confirmation of this. My brain, the gears started turning. And I started remembering, wait a second. And I went back to the Clone Wars Season 3 towards the episodes with the gods of Mortis. And I just kind of skimmed through looking for like, I remember, and I remembered that one episode where the father tells Anakin, you're the chosen one that's supposed to replace me. And he turns him down. After I saw that, I was like, I thought I was remembering. Once I saw that, I'm like, what the freak? What if this is the whole, what Filoni's doing here is Anakin did replace the father after death in the Force. He becomes the father amongst the gods of Mortis, and Ahsoka is now representative of the daughter.
Yeah.
And the son is still out there. We don't know who that might be.
No.
So I'm like, maybe that's what he's doing. Because, there was a lot of speculation.
Anakin,
will it be like the goddesses? You don't know who. Because then, now, if you think about Balin and the color of what was shooting up in the mountain in the distance, the first thing that comes to mind is Abeloth.
Yeah.
Who is the mother, but except for she was human. Abeloth was human, and she wanted to be one of the gods of Mortis. She helped care for the son and the daughter, and so forth. And so she drank from the pool of enlightenment, or whatever the heck it was. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. And it was, you're not supposed to. And it corrupted her, and she becomes this creature, essentially. And she winds up getting banished and all this kind of thing. The confusing thing about it was, and the reason we didn't know for sure if it was the gods of Mortis, because they're on Peridia.
Right.
They're not on Mortis. So we're like, is it? It could have gone a lot of ways.
They got Mount Rushmore's there.
Yeah. It could have gone a lot of ways. But this confirmed. So now it introduces these concepts. But the thing that has got me like, oh, if he does that, like to where Anakin did replace the father.
Well, Anakin showed up he was like the last shot pretty much.
Because that's what Anakin, and I was like, oh my gosh, why didn't we think of this before? Because Dave Filoni's, how obsessed is Dave Filoni with Anakin Skywalker?
He says he's the greatest Jedi of all time.
Yeah, the greatest Jedi of all time, because he says that's what George Lucas says.
Yes.
And everything centers around Anakin Skywalker.
It's the Skywalker
He's
saga.
the one who brings balance to the Force. It's just not the way that you think. Right?
Which goes back to...
Dude, it
goes back to Freddie
on.
Prinze Jr., who is Kanan. Have you guys seen his famous rant on YouTube and stuff like that?
Yes,
of like
exactly.
People with the sequel trilogy getting mad. He's like, you guys don't understand. Like, it's not about that. He goes, I was trained by Filoni. Filoni was trained by Lucas. Like, this is like, he goes, there's rules, the way things work. This is how it works. And everything that Jr. said on there, who was, again, Kanan, lines up with everything you just said, who's done by Filoni. So it's very possible.
So if that's the case, and it's
even
more than that.
But even Thrawn was saying, he's like, that's the freaking apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. So he was like, because Elsbeth was saying, what are you worried about? He's like, that's the apprentice of Anakin Skywalker. You don't understand.
But I do think that was actually another cool aspect of this episode, was he tells Ahsoka in the end when they get away. Yeah. He tells her, the reason I knew what you were going to do is because I knew your master.
Yes.
And so I assumed that you were going to follow some of his patterns and methodology. So it allowed me to predict what you were going to do, and it bought us time.
In such Thrawn fashion.
It was that dialogue was so good, and that interaction, and Ahsoka barely said anything. But that was a really cool aspect to it. But also how Thrawn was telling Morgan Elsbeth, I've seen too many officers fall prey to the actions of a single Jedi.
But what's really cool that got me hyped based off of what he said, I'm like, oh, you think that about his apprentice? You haven't met his son yet.
Exactly where I was going.
You haven't met his son yet.
Exactly the next place I was going. Because what happens, and when this happened, I was like, I almost started, because in Heir to the Empire, who is the hero in Heir to the Empire?
Luke Skywalker.
Luke freaking Skywalker, people.
The one.
It's not Ahsoka Tano. It's Luke Skywalker.
Because Anakin may be the chosen one. He's the GOAT, right? But who brought his dad or the chosen one back to the light side of the Force?
Luke.
This is really fun dissecting this. Going back to what you just said, Filoni did this twice, because the lesson that Anakin taught Ahsoka in episode 5, that Clone Wars episode, in The World Between Worlds, was a lesson that Luke taught Anakin when he was alive.
He passed to her what he learned from his son.
Exactly. So this whole... Filoni is so good with the
insane
with the writing and entwining and just the lore. The symbolism,
even
too.
like the
everything.
Nods that he worked into this entire series. This particular episode, it's called The Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord.
The wardrobe. Yeah, I was like the line, the Witch, and the wardrobe.
I was like, dude, you could not have a more awesome nod to C.S. Lewis and the Chronicles of Narnia.
Well, then even like Ahsoka the White, like
Ahsoka the White,
Lord of the Rings,
even the him standing on the statue at the end
that
was very much a nod to Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, okay.
And the statues of is it Abaddon? Either one. The statues that guard the way.
Yeah.
To
I know what you're talking about now. Yeah.
What's the name of the city? Man, I'm having a Lord of the Rings brain fart. Sorry. But it's very much a nod to Lord of the Rings, and he just did that throughout the entire series, and I thought that was such a cool ad. He did it so many different times by just adding all these different mythologies. I mean, he went into samurai mythology. He went into Nordic mythology.
He did.
He was going into all this different stuff. And then you have all the pulls that he was doing from Legends and all throughout canon of Star Wars.
Yep.
I mean, he really showed off his depth of knowledge on Star Wars. And not only Star Wars, but the mythologies that work with Star Wars.
I would say like, man, it's again, because like the episode itself, as far as like, whatever, I still, because you agree too, where it was a little underwhelming and stuff. But when you really think about it, it's like, I don't know though. Like he did some work with all the writing and stuff behind the scenes. Like like he did some stuff.
There was
because the setup too, like given it could have been a little faster or whatnot, but like everything he worked in, just the dialogue changes, the symbolism, the setup now going into that movie, the things that like, where's this, like, is Thrawn gonna face Luke? Is Balin, where's Balin go? Like now that he's got he's there, what is he doing? What does he want with this? Like, what's his point?
And we still don't know what's calling to him. Is it the sun or is it Abeloth? We still don't know that yet.
And Shin too. She's still there
Shin's
with them.
the Marauders.
But it's crazy too. Like, think of it this way too, because you got Balin. There's three. So you got the daughter, you got the son, you got the father. And you got Balin, you got Ahsoka, and you got Shin. Those are kind of the three. I mean, Sabine's there too, but I mean, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. They're all on the same. It's all coming to a head. Without
question.
It's got.
But the thing that made me happiest, because episode 7 was a waste, and that of all the things about this entire series, there was definitely things that you could. You would be rightfully critical of.
It stayed true to like Rebels and Clone Wars, because Rebels and Clone Wars are amazing, but they also had a lot of fillers. There's a lot of episodes you don't.
But you had a lot more episodes. There was a lot more content.
But I just think it's funny because he mainly came from animation, so like it kind of translated over to live action.
I said that in after the first episode. I was just like, it kind of showed that he's coming out of animation and he's still transitioning into a film, like a live action film director. But
what are you excited for his movie now?
Now I am, because at the end he leaves Ahsoka and Sabine on Peridia.
Yeah.
And freaking Thrawn is gone with Ezra. And that means they're kicking off the Heir to the Empire story.
Because they're
Ezra, setting it up because Luke wasn't there.
No.
So they're setting it up. We know Luke is present.
Yes. No, this is going to be Luke in his peak.
Yep.
So Luke and Ezra, oh my God.
So that really excited me. Is okay.
And is Jason going to come into it too?
Dude, I don't know.
Because Jason, they said he had force powers. He was, so is he going to be like a little Jedi here? Like
at minimum, you can say is they're setting it up. He has set it up to be true to the Heir to the Empire story with Luke Skywalker. And if you're making a movie, dude, where Luke Skywalker at peak form, peak Jedi form, is the hero of the story, and we're getting that as a movie. Bro, sign me up 3 places. That will be insane, because then it allows him to do season 2 of Ahsoka on Peridia, exploring what's going on with Balin, Ahsoka, and Sabine, and potentially finally revealing, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Revealing that Anakin has taken the place of the father. Ahsoka is the daughter and she just doesn't know it.
Be quiet.
Dude, how cool is it, by the way? Speaking of the Chronicles of Narnia references, this is one thing that we didn't mention before, is that the world between worlds, and this goes back to like how just smart Filoni is at including things. The world between worlds, even that, when he created that for Rebels, that was a nod to the Chronicles of Narnia because of the woods between worlds.
Yeah.
And it's just, he does that stuff over and over again, but he tied it all together really, really well at the end, and he left it in a really good. That was what I was worried about.
What did they say?
Is they were going to leave it he was going to leave it, and we were going to go, what?
Well, he left it in a place where he gave us an answer, but now we got to wait for it to really play out.
But he left it in a really good place to where now you not only have a reason to come back for season 2 of Ahsoka, because of the potential of what the meanings of the end especially meant.
Do you think?
But also for the movie.
Yeah.
But because also, like Morgan Elsbeth, is she really dead?
Well, considering resurrection is a huge thing, it's like probably not.
And the Night Sisters left with Thrawn. They're headed back to Dathomir. So there's so many different things that he set it up.
Asajj
Ventress.
Asajj.
We don't know what's going to happen, but throughout this entire thing, there has been alluding to that one powerful figure from Dathomir.
No, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So there's this character that there is reason to speculate that because it's, may his reign continue forever or rise, whatever. As people were trying to translate the writing, there's reason to believe that when they get back to their whole point of wanting to get back to Dathomir is to resurrect this particular character. So he left everything on both sides, both set up for the movie and for season 2 as Ahsoka in a great place.
I will say it did play out as far as lore and stuff. This is what made Clone Wars and Rebels so good because it was so rich in mythology and adding stuff and closing stuff off and making it come full circle. And he did the same exact writing for Ahsoka, and it's great.
Yeah, he did.
Favreau said it. Favreau said this is why for the first season of Mandalorian, he said as far as writing goes, like I wanted to write the whole thing because it needs to come from one mind. It needs to come from one place, so it's all over the place. Yep. And Filoni did the same thing with this. But yeah, we gotta move on. We gotta talk about Loki.
It's very, very smart. And if you guys have seen the previous episodes about me, I was very critical of this season throughout. And
what would you give this? Let's finish it because we said we would rank it at the end. 1 through 10, whole season as a whole.
Okay.
The season, what would you give it?
The season by itself, I would probably give a 6.
Oh, really? That's kind of low.
I'd probably give a 6. But where he left things in the end, and the way he tied some of the lore together by the end, and set things up, I would give that more like an 8.5.
But just to see everything.
As a Star Wars fan, if you're not a Star Wars fan, a lot of the stuff you're not.
So what's your final answer for the season then, as a whole?
I would say like probably a 6.5.
6.5? Oh wow.
6.5, maybe a 7. It was slow a lot of the time.
It was slow. I'd probably give it like an 8.
Yeah, I'm probably being more. I'm probably being harsh
because it was really good. There was some. Yeah, 8.
Because there was
solid 8.
There was a solid 3 to 4 episodes where I was like, either very underwhelmed or I was just like, that just wasn't.
You still like Mando season 1 and 2 more overall?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I think I don't know because they're kind of different, right? Because like you said,
it's such a different because I would say yes, definitely as far as an entertainment value and just Star Wars like. But from a lore standpoint,
the lore, Ahsoka was so much better.
It was a lot richer in Ahsoka.
But cool factor was probably Mando season 1 and 2.
Yeah, from just raw entertainment, fun, just well put together, characters all being fun and everything like that, and it being.
But they're kind of different though too. Very different. It's like
Ahsoka is very. I feel like Ahsoka was a series that was made for heavy Star Wars fans, particularly fans of Clone Wars.
Thank you, Filoni.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, anyway, Loki episode 1 from season 2. We both watched it.
Yep.
40 minutes of goodness. I don't have a single complaint about this episode, Tim. I
don't think I do either.
The first thing I said before we shot this, because we didn't talk about it, we just we're like, what'd you think? We were like, loved it. We just, whatever. But I think we both agree, and I think a lot of you would agree, this is easily this kind of just confirms that Loki season 1 and potentially the rest of Loki season 2 is just going to be the best Marvel Disney Plus series. Like, I don't even think there's competition really.
I have, that's been my vote. I've said that from the beginning. When Loki came out, I was like, this is hands down the best show, and it has not been supplanted.
But like
it
all around,
lost its
right?
Title for me
because this episode didn't really tell us that much. It didn't really push that much forward. It
had some cool timeline stuff.
Very cool timeline stuff. It was. I felt like the season finale of season 1 and this. Like this just could have been like one long episode. Like it flowed right in, and it just felt like it was just you could put them together and be like,
it legit picked up right where it left off.
Yeah. So like. With that said, it was just really good, but it didn't it ended, because spoilers galore, it ended with, Loki getting disintegrated by a mystery person, but it didn't really tell us that much, but it was super entertaining. The chemistry, the writing, the cinematography, like just everything is so well done.
Yeah.
It's well acted. It's well written. It's well shot. Like even the little review, just everything. It just, you watch it and you just feel like you're watching good quality.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's just like, this is just good. It's just
there was no point in this where I found myself going, oh my gosh, that's amazing because this ties into that, or this is this reveal, or nothing like that. It was just a well done episode of a well done show.
Who's the guy? He's an Oscar winner now, I believe. For the Indiana Jones. The
Oh
kid.
yeah. Now you made me forget
the
his
kid.
name.
Yeah, when he was a kid,
I'm
Dr.
gonna
Jones.
look it up.
Dr. Jones.
I'm gonna look it up.
You know, he just won an Oscar a year or so ago, along with Brendan Fraser.
Right, exactly.
He's awesome though. His character,
So good.
Obi, I believe.
Obi.
Well,
it's his name is the actual character's name is Ouroboros.
Ouroboros, but they call him
Ouroboros.
Obi, and awesome. He was so good, like because the stars of this episode are really obviously Loki, Morbius, and Ob when they introduce him, and the three of them go at it, especially the last half of the episode for going, trying to get Loki to stop time splitting or whatever they call it, where he keeps freaking out. And the bit where like Loki tells him, he's like, "Why are you looking at me like that? I thought you said it wasn't that bad." He's like, "I lied to you, man. Like it looks horrifying, dude. It makes me uneasy." Like, or the skin bit when they're trying to stop him from doing that. They're arguing on like what's worse, being like thrown into a black hole and split into like a million pieces, or having to live without skin. And he's like, "You don't understand." He's like, "What did he say? Your quality of life would be horrible without skin." Dude straight up said the quality of life would be horrible without skin. I was dying. My kids were sleeping and I was trying not to wake them up because my wife's out of town. So it's like it would solely be on me. I'm like, no, I want to watch this. I want to finish it. But I was trying to hold in my laughter. I was like, that is so funny.
Yeah, it
like,
was really
because
funny.
it's like the way that was phrased. It's like by quality, what kind of quality of life would you have if you had no skin?
You had no skin.
It's so funny. And they kept calling back to it.
Yeah. His name is Ki Kwan.
Ki Kwan.
Ki Kwan.
Ki Kwan. You are awesome, friend.
Yeah, so
you are
good.
awesome.
But their chemistry and their interactions.
So good.
Tom Hiddleston and him and Owen Wilson, and then the three of them. Really great chemistry. That's really one of the big things of this show.
For sure.
It's Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson together. And now the addition of him as a character is brilliant. He's great.
I hope he stays around throughout the whole series.
I do too.
Yeah.
So good. I hope he's a main character.
Yeah, for sure.
He's great. And the three of them together were great. It was funny. It was entertaining. It was captivating because of what they were doing with the timelines. It was genuinely mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were kind of like wondering like, whoa, what's happening? Where is this going? But that speaks to the quality of the storytelling.
It's really good.
Yeah, really, really good. And we don't really know anything about where this is going yet. There's little hints and stuff embedded in there. You got to kind of have a magnifying glass out, though. You got to be a detective to really catch a lot of it. But the stuff that they're doing with Kang, I still think is just really cool. The way that they're integrating it.
I honestly don't have a single complaint about this first episode.
Yeah, I don't think I do
I was
either.
just like everything they did. Like I'm not even mad that they didn't like give us a big reveal. I'm like, this is if it does a nice cool pace like this because it's still so entertaining. Mm-hmm. They are pushing the story forward for sure, and eventually they'll probably get to a big reveal. But like I don't need big reveals all the time. No. I just want this. It's just good writing. It's fun. It's continuing to push the story forward. And, eventually we'll get to something that's like, ooh, but we don't need that every single episode,
Is it me, or did you think that the quality of the set pieces improved? Actually looked like richer and more practical.
I noticed
definitely some of the camera moves.
For sure. But did you for me, I'm trying to remember the first season, but it looks like this was shot on film. Didn't it have that grainy kind of look, right? It
definitely had the feel of film. It's digital, but it definitely had the feel of film.
But you know how
the color palette that they chose is what it's giving it.
Right, because you know how a lot of digital, because now they're doing digital to look like film, to have that grainy. But then there's other people like Michael Bay and stuff where they just want it super crisp, super bright, and it's like, oh, but film has that grainy kind of quality, and it makes it even. It feels nostalgic.
Gives it an edge.
Yeah, and whether it's a filter or whatever, it looked great, and I felt like it made it look better, if that makes any sense.
I completely agree.
Like I was like, I'm down for this. I don't need everything to be like ultra 812K all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it really serves this particular show, just because it has like a darker edge to it.
It does.
It has kind of almost a thriller type vibe.
But it's still
not heavy though.
No.
But it has. They've just put just enough in there to give it a little extra something.
Because he's like especially in this, he's a guy on the run. The TV are going after him.
It's like a buddy cop,
it's kind of
sort of mystery.
Well, it's kind of like that's actually kind of exactly what it's going to be. Because now, judging from the trailers, him and Morbius, Loki and Morbius are going to be jumping through the time streams. They're gonna find Victor Timely, who's, a version of Kang, which we did an episode on, evereveron.
That's right.
Look at that. Self-promo. Go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/variant Victor Timely.
No, it's not. It's not that. Just click the link. It's not that. But we did do an episode on Victor Timely. So if you want to know who Victor Timely is, where he came from in comics.
You go to YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
You type in Victor Timely.
Yeah,
and
you just
get
hit
the episode.
variant/YouTube.Victor Timely.
We'll have a Bitly for you, all right? Bitly link. No, but yeah, I am thoroughly enjoyed I thoroughly enjoyed this first episode, and I'm very excited for episode 2.
Yeah, I so loved the first season. It's just my favorite. It was my favorite show from Marvel on Disney Plus. So I was really looking forward to season 2, even with all of the crap we've been getting for the last couple of years. This was the one I was looking forward to come back, and I was hoping that they were going to be, and they picked up.
This is a pleasant surprise because Marvel. Well, I think it is fair to say Marvel's been falling off because coming out of Endgame and stuff like that, nothing's really hit. I mean, you have Spider-Man No Way Home, but for me personally, everyone's got their own opinion. For me personally, nothing has been really like hitting. Like, I enjoyed Moon Knight, I enjoyed Shang-Chi, I thought they were good, and other films here and there, Guardians Volume 3, they've had good stuff, but like, I feel like Loki, if it stays on this, is going to be the first thing in a while where it's like, oh, but Loki though. You know what I mean? Because you have like, oh, that was good. And then you have like, oh, this is awesome. And I feel like Loki season 2 could be like, oh, this is awesome.
It very much did. And they had, one of the things that I really liked was when he was hopping through time. And this is like going to is like, it just gives the show that little extra.
Is it the OB thing?
Yes.
How they were explaining
when he was going back in time, he disappears, he goes back in time, and he's talking to Obi in the past.
Yes.
And so the Obi in the future is talking to Mobius.
Yes.
And he's remembering what Loki's telling him in the past real time.
So smart.
It was such a good scene, and it's just such a well-written,
very well-written
scene, right?
Because I've never seen anything like that with time travel before.
No.
It may have been done. I personally never seen it, and I thought it was really clever.
And Mobius even says to him, so wait, is he in the past telling you this now?
I like your own Wilson impression.
It was so good.
It was good.
And that's the stuff that, I agree. It's just like
because he's like, wait, oh no, now I remember because he just said it to him in the past.
He's like, actually, I have one right here.
Yeah. Because the show,
I do have one.
Because the show does have that like quirky, cheesy sci-fi, but it works because the way they do it, it works. So it's cheesy, but like the right cheese. Like it has a quirkiness, almost kind of like a. Oh my God, like an artsy, what's the director that everyone freaking loves? He's got those artsy films. He just came out with a new one. Wes Anderson,
Wes Anderson.
Like it kind of has that kind of where his stuff is a little artsy, cheesy. It's kind of a little off. It's just something about it feels off. And this does in the best way possible at times. And I love it.
I agree. And I think it's the characters and it's the people playing the characters that pull it off so well. It's the chemistry. It's their ability to kind of just command the screen. But what I was saying is there's that one scene where there's these doors that are opening up, and someone pointed out there's an X, and it was like a little nod to Cerebro.
Oh, really? Like the X-Men?
Like the X-Men doors.
I didn't notice
Cerebro doors opening up.
That's cool.
So there's little things like that in there. But just overall, it really is the characters, it's the writing, and it's the overall, just the quality of the show. It's very well done.
Yeah, I'm excited for next week. And as we keep saying, we have not a single bad thing to say about it.
No. I hope next week they introduce Victor Timely because I really do want to see Kang back on screen.
Yeah. I like to see all the different versions of Kang he plays. Yes. So curious.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to say, though, quickly before we're out, because you haven't watched it yet, but Gen V is back.
Yes.
Gen V, it's a spin-off series from The Boys. It picks up right after The Boys season 3, after all the Homelander shenanigans and stuff like that.
Shenanigans.
But I've only watched the first episode, even though I believe it's 3-4 episodes in. But I just now getting a chance to get caught up on it. And even just watching the first episode, it's spinoffs are weird because spinoffs are hard to be on par with the original thing it's spinning off from. You know what I mean? Like you have The Walking Dead and they're like, let's do spinoffs. And it's not really as good as the other one. It's just hard. I've only seen the first episode, so I can't speak for the rest. But judging from what I saw from the first episode, it looks like it's going to be just as good as The Boys, which is crazy because first episode, where it's our first time to see, because it's new characters within this universe, reacting to the things that happened after Boys season 3, and it's captivating, it's intriguing. The new characters they've already introduced, you're like, yeah, I'm in. And I've only watched the first episode. It's an hour long, so I can't wait to watch the next 2 or 3. But yeah, Gen V, The Boys, it's awesome. If you haven't watched yet, Prime Video, and you need to watch it, Tim. I'm not going to spoil it because you haven't seen it.
I have a question that's probably going to make people annoyed.
What?
How many seasons of The Boys are there?
3.
I have only watched 1.
Dude, okay, I'm going to say this. I think The Boys is probably the best superhero TV show currently out. That's including all
That's
of
quite
the...
a statement.
Yeah.
Well, no, it isn't. That's not even that hard to accomplish at this point.
Yeah, I mean...
outside of Loki.
Loki's really good. I will say the only thing is because Loki's very different. So,
yes.
But The Boys is also extremely well written. It's extremely well shot. Freaking Anthony Starr plays Homelander. My God, he's terrifying and good at that role. Bro.
Yeah, he is
like,
very good.
It is insane. Like, you're watching it like on TV and it feels like you're in the room at times and like I get uncomfortable. I'm like, this is awkward and it's fake and I'm not even there, you know? But like, also, what am I forgetting? He plays Butcher. My God, we love him. What's his name? The guy who plays Butcher. He's in Star Trek. Everyone wants to play Batman. We all love him. But what's his name? What's the actor's name? Carl Urban.
Carl Urban, yes.
Carl
I was
Urban.
trying to remember it as your side because I know who you're talking about. But
he's fantastic. Everyone's fantastic in The Boys. So it's very rated R too. So it's very rated R. So for anyone who's not familiar with it and is going to watch it with their young ones, just know that and then do as you wish. But no, it's very rated R.
I mean, you do you, but I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, like in all aspects too, like
gore, everything.
Like
it's very gratuitous.
Yeah, like nudity, all that stuff. It's got, but it's so well written, and because of that, I will say, because there's no boundaries, it lets you explore a lot of crazy situations that makes it that more compelling, or be like, I can't believe they're doing that. And how are they doing that and making it work? That's really weird, but somehow that's compelling and it makes for good storytelling. Watch The Boys, watch Gen V. You need to watch it so we can talk about it more, or I'm just going to start spoiling it on the next podcast.
I'm lucky I get to see, able to watch Loki.
Yeah, you just said you haven't seen. So first, you got to catch up on seasons 2 and 3.
I am like, there's so many things. Arris on the regular goes, dude, did you watch this? I'm like, dude, no, dude. The Boys is
you'll
priority. Know one day because you got 2 kids.
Yes,
and they're both young. You'll know one day because your life gets exponentially busier as your kids get older.
I already have to
because you already have a busy life work wise, right?
Yeah.
So I have an insane schedule work wise already.
Well, because what else?
And then you add, I have 4 kids and all of them are teenagers. My oldest actually is turning 21 this week. Happy birthday, babe. But so it's like your life just gets crazy busy. But it's like that period where you're like, this time period doesn't last forever, so you kind of just love it while you're in it. Yeah. And you're on for the ride. You know what I mean?
No,
I mean, it's so TV is like a distant.
You got to do it systematic because there's a lot of shows I like. Freaking the spinoff for Castlevania just hit Netflix, and you know how I feel about Castlevania.
Man.
Yeah. I watched the first episode because they're 20 minutes, so I was able to watch the first episode of that. Really good. But I would need to get through that. Also, the new season of freaking Demon Slayer just hit Netflix because I know it's been out. I know you anime purists, it's been out for a long time watching it on Crunchyroll. I was going to say,
that's not new.
Yeah, they're watching it on Crunchyroll, but wait for the dub.
I wait for Netflix.
I wait for the dub on Netflix, okay? And I know there's probably other ways to watch it, but I'm watching it now. I don't know what to tell you, okay? So it's new to me. It's new to me, and I love Demon Slayer because I got a lot of other stuff to watch in the meantime, hence the point of this rant. But anyway, you got to do it systematically is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I do need to start making a list of things. And I know that there's people watching that going, Tim, isn't this what you're supposed to do for a living?
Yeah, you're supposed to be watching The Boys.
And that's a fair critique. You know, I can take it. It's a fair critique. And the answer is yes. And I do keep up. If there's something we need to talk about, oftentimes I will just spoil it for myself, and I'll go and look at see what happens.
But it's also too
there's sometimes only when I have to.
Because people who do say that, because it's true, because they may even say that about me too. Because it's like you got to think of the amount of comic books that are dropping every week. Think of the amount of animes, the amount of animated shows, the amount of live action shows, the amount of movies, video games. Like it's whether it's your job or not. It's literally impossible, especially if you got to, because you're never going to spend time with your wife, your kids. You're never going to go out and do other things besides watching superhero shows. If you all knew, for real, if you all knew the amount of content we had to sift through, it's crazy
just to do the show.
It's crazy.
So adding on that, it does get difficult, but we do it. We do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
We love it.
No, I do. But it's Because right now too, I'm also
But I
trying
don't get to everything.
because we're in spooky season too. So it's like obviously like
Spooky season.
we're Halloween season.
We're in spooky season.
Because obviously like superheroes is like my number one love and stuff like that.
Jedi?
Kind of, oh god, this is my thing. But like I like horror. I'm a big fan of horror. So I also would like to during the Halloween season watch some horror movies. So I've been trying to go through like the Halloweens again, and I haven't seen The Orphanage yet. I want to watch The Exorcist. I've never seen the original Exorcist, which I know I haven't seen it. I want to watch that. So like I'm trying to like get through that as well, and it's too much. It's too much.
It's true. My kids, they this is one of their favorite. This and Christmas, obviously, but like my oldest Rachel, she loves like Halloween movies. So and fall. So she's been like, hey guys, you want to watch a Halloween movie? Hey guys,
have you watched
let's
anything?
Watch something fall. And she's like trying so hard to get the train rolling.
Yeah, do
and
it.
everybody's like, yeah, and then nothing happens. So we got this weekend is her birthday. She's turning 21, so she gets to pick whatever we watch. And
Exorcist.
All that kind of stuff. Yeah, no. Okay, let me take that back.
Insidious.
Yeah, so we'll do
House of a Thousand Corpses.
We'll be doing fall stuff this weekend just for her.
No, it makes sense. So well,
before we close out, there's one thing that I wanted to get your thoughts on very quickly, because it's just a rumor. There's really nothing to talk about. The rumors around Secret Wars, Sam Raimi being rumored to direct, and Toby Maguire being rumored to play a significant role.
Dude, this is already a thing, Tim. This is already a thing.
Yeah, it's like a thing.
No, it's a thing. No, yeah, it's okay. Let me tell you something.
Okay,
camera on me. Hold on. Let me tell you something.
I already know what you're gonna say.
Let me tell you something. Sam Raimi, awesome, cool. But where we hit is Toby Maguire Spider-Man. If Toby Maguire Spider-Man is one of the leads in Secret Wars.
You really want that?
Yeah. Who doesn't want that?
I don't know.
That's the question.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Leave. Leave.
You can't kick me out.
Dude, all right, poll time.
All right,
poll.
fair.
New poll.
All right. That is a fair
poll.
I want to know.
How excited would you be if it was officially confirmed that Tobey Maguire, the OG 2002 Spider-Man of most of our childhoods, was a lead in Secret Wars?
I really want to know that. I want to know what people's thoughts are on that.
It would almost be like Peter B. Parker to Miles Morales into the Spider-Verse, where you got that OG old Spider-Man mentoring the Tom Holland Spider-Man, which we saw a little bit of in No Way Home. But he would have a way bigger role if he was the lead.
You know what? I'm going to put it like this. This is why I'm concerned. I'm concerned.
Tobey Maguire's also a fantastic actor. Like, he's really good.
In the right role.
Dude, he's awesome.
He's a little, it's kind of, it gets cheesy. With Tobey Maguire,
didn't he win an Oscar? Or was nominated for
as Spider-Man? No,
but just in general.
I'm talking about as Spider-Man. He's awesome. Yeah, he's a good actor in general.
He's the Keaton of Spider-Man. Legit. Tell me I'm wrong.
Its novelty, but him as Spider-Man, it can get cheesy. So there's a lot of nostalgia. It was awesome to see him back in No Way Home, but I'm not sure how I feel about him returning to play a lead in Secret Wars, bro. And then, but this is why it concerns me more than anything. If you told me Tobey Maguire was going to come back and play a lead role in Secret Wars, Avengers Secret Wars, at the hands of this director over here, I'd be like, that's interesting. You tell me it's in the hands of Sam Raimi, I'm very concerned. Sam Raimi directed The Multiverse of Madness. That's all I need to say. Maybe you loved Multiverse of Madness, but I will say it like this. You are in a minority.
You know what else he directed?
I said it going into Multiverse of Madness. When they announced that he was freaking directing it, I was like, oh, that has me worried.
You know what else he directed? The Evil Deads.
Yes.
The Spider-Man movie.
Evil Dead.
Spider-Man 3 wasn't his fault. The studio, he's even said it, the studio forced that on him. That I don't want to hear anyone be like, Spider-Man 3. Wasn't his fault. He's been on record being like, they forced it on me. He didn't even want Venom to be in the damn movie. He didn't. He wanted to go Vulture and stuff like that.
But as fun as the first and second Spider-Man are from a novelty standpoint, second Spider-Man, good movie. It's a totally different tone than the Marvel Cinematic
Universe.
This way.
Did you enjoy Tobey Maguire in No Way Home?
Yes, but he didn't direct. That's my point.
Did you enjoy Tobey Maguire?
Yes, but Sam Raimi didn't direct the movie.
He would be awesome.
I want to know.
He would be
We're
awesome.
putting a poll up with this episode. So go to the community page.
Dude.
Go to the community page. I'm going to put it up on Twitter and I'm going to put it up on the YouTube community page for the Variant Podcast YouTube. Go vote whether or not. I'm going to put up two. I'm going to put up one. Would you be excited about Sam Raimi directing Secret Wars?
Okay.
And would you be excited to see Tobey Maguire take a lead role?
Oh my God. Because, bro,
as Peter Parker in Secret Wars.
Back his MJ2, Like they brought her back and you get little bit glimpses of that and you see how he's progressed in his life. Bro, because it would be like Spider-Man 4, kind of. It's like the Spider-Man 4 we never had if they went that route.
I kind of was more excited about them doing that as a solo film.
No, I would love a Spider-Man 4 as well.
Yeah.
But if we can't get that.
If you told me it was incorporated in, I would say fine. But as a lead, I don't know.
But dude, think about it. Because Secret Wars is going to be like multiverses. You got all these weird, all these superheroes from all over, like banding together to defeat a threat, right? And who better than the Keaton of Spider-Man to lead the charge for the Spider characters? That just is such a full circle. He's the OG. So of course he would have to lead the Spider-Man. He's like, Garfield, Holland, I'll teach you. Come on, let's go.
I'll say it again. It could be cool. But in the hands of Raimi,
and then they give us that iconic shot that Raimi like coined, where he's going through the city, and it like the camera goes in close on the lens with the reflection, and then out. Oh, come on!
Wow, this is like nostalgia.
No, for sure.
This is like nostalgia being pumped directly into Arris' veins.
But like I said it before. Yes, nostalgia, but even without nostalgia, he's still a badass Spider-Man. He's like arguably the toughest Spider-Man.
I don't know about that.
I think, and if you're going to go that route, I think, like, who would win a fight? Tom Holland, Garfield, or Toby Maguire? Toby Maguire all day long. All day long.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Just because of who he's faced and the battles that he's had in the movies.
The experience.
I'll give you that.
He's looked like more of a bruiser certainly more than any of the other Spider-Man. He's the biggest Spider-Man.
Well, he's also gotten angrier than Tom Holland.
He's angry. He's gotten angry once. He's got the organic webbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll give you that one. But still, Sam Raimi, in this equation, Sam Raimi is the concern for me. Big time.
Yeah. But where you had me at was Toby Maguire. You had me at Toby.
I had no doubts about that part. But yeah, so go and give your opinion. Put your hat in the ring on that on the polls of the community or on
then
Twitter.
If they really want my brain to explode, this will never ever happen. But if they really wanted me to just look up. Like pass out in a chair. You have to be watching this to get that, guys. But if you just wanted me to pass out, like, again, this will never happen. I don't know. Maybe just such a long shot. You had some sort of crossover where Keaton met Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, like in a Marvel DC. Oh.
That'll never happen.
I legitimately think I would cry. I think actual real tears would come from my eyes.
Maybe the Oscars could pull that off as like a sketch or something.
It'll never happen. But I think that's why I would probably be so emotional. I'd be like, how the hell did they pull it? Like, I never would have thought they did that. Like, because like when you bring people like Keaton or Toby Maguire, you're like, you hope. But there's a possibility because it's like you can. It's like, you may not happen, but
anything's possible.
But like DC Marvel, I'm like, that's not going to happen.
I wonder who's shorter in real life.
Keaton or Toby?
Keaton or Toby Maguire.
Oh.
Because they're both small guys.
Yeah. But either way, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd be about it.
All right. Well, take the poll.
All right, guys. So with that said, that brings our podcast to a close.
Yeah, we're getting out of here.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time when we talk about all things comics.